Hey everybody, welcome. It's the B2. We're going to talk about Conflict of Nations, World War III, and we're going to talk picking a military doctrine slash country. So picking a country and choosing a doctrine, very important piece of what you can expect. And so a lot of players have a couple schools of thoughts here. They either pick the same country over and over. They're predictable. They know where to go and what to do. They like that. Some people choose to try a bunch of different countries, find their favorite that way. So you'll see these are the games that I'm currently playing. I'm going to hit new games, and it's going to give me a lot of options here. So there are about 5 or 6 different game modes, but you'll see that the speeds are listed here. Now, I prefer to play regular speed. See here, there's nothing on there. Or down here, like the World War III maps, which I enjoy the 64-player maps. It's what I started with, just kind of where I'm more comfortable. But the Apocalypse one's fun. It's a 4x speed. It's a special event, so you'll see those pop up from time to time. They'll do a lot of 4x or even 10x games during holiday seasons, long weekends, spring breaks, that sort of stuff, summer vacations, where people have more time to sit in front of their game if they're high school or college students, right? There's just more activity. If you're an old man like me, you choose to play some of the slower games because I only get 5 or 10 minutes here and there throughout the day to update the game. I don't want to have to be at my computer every hour moving troops and looking at the map. Like it's just too much. You'll like the Middle East Crisis 20-player game. Very small. It's a smaller map, so the games are quicker wins if you can get out and get some resources and kind of move cities quick. This one is like, if you want to challenge, you go play the zombie map and you go play Apocalypse, right? 128 players trying to survive against the zombies. The minute those guys start taking off, they are hard to stop. You got to have some really good defenses and some really good strategies. They run the map pretty quick, those zombies. So then Rising Tides, another 128 player game on a 4x speed, way challenging. 128 players, it's 128 personalities, kind of crazy. And then you get down to the games that I like. You'll look and see the World War III games. They're also ranked, so it keeps your stats of kills and everything. And then what I do is I look for games that have day 0 and have a ton of open slots. So like this one, I don't want to play a 4x, but I want to go in and show you. Of course, I'm not going to cheat. I don't have multiple accounts, but I wanted to show you what the actual startup menu would look like and why it's important to look at doctrines, right? So you want to know how to play to your strengths on here. So say, for instance, I wanted to start Algeria. It's going to tell me that it's an Eastern doctrine. It favors tanks, mobile artillery, helicopter gunships. That's really important for your start, because if you research tanks and you research helicopter gunships, you're going to be able to keep people at bay. They're stronger. You can research them quicker as far as like on the timeline, right? So it's a medium-sized nation, so it's not crazy, but it will be down here. Where's Algeria? Right here. So you're going to have enemies all the way across here, and this is where you kind of have to look at strategy, right? So it's great to be Russia and you got this big landmass and a lot of cities, but look at how many people can attack you all along here and take your stuff, man. You've got to be a master at diplomacy to get through there. And then of course, like if you were to take, like I really love playing South Africa. I've got 2 enemies to start with here and here. You're kind of backed into a corner, but it makes it easier to defend your borders. Australia, it's hard to get to you because you got to produce naval units to hop the islands to get over to Australia. So it gives you a buffer. If you look at Brazil, this is another tough one, right? You got probably, 8 enemies that are around here, but it's a larger nation. So it's a large nation, and it tells you that in the beginning. It's the Eastern Doctrine. So they're heavy anti-tank, mechanized infantry, and strike fighter aircraft. So if you're going to go Brazil, you can do mechanized infantry and have a stronger infantry quicker if you stay in that mechanized tree, right? So then, U.S., it's same. It's another large nation. If you don't want to go into some of the, like, let's pick New Zealand, right? They're a minor island nation. They have some struggles. You gotta be really experienced at naval for that, and it tells you advice best suited for experienced naval players. But again, it's a buffer zone here. Like no one's coming after you, but you're gonna have to land grab somewhere. So you're gonna have to come up the islands. You're gonna have to go into Australia. It's a very, very hard starting point. You can end up at like Mali over here in the corner. They are medium-sized again, but they're European. The anti-tank thing comes from the desert. Like the way units have combat multipliers in here will really play into it. So you have to kind of know: do anti-tank, do they have a minus factor for going into a jungle? Like if you go and you go south into some of these nations, there's not a lot of desert, and then you end up having some issues going in, right? So as far as doctrines go, like that's what you want to be careful of and what you want to look at, right? Now I don't want to actually join this game because I want to go in there, but let's take a look at some new games. I'm going to move it to an archive. It'll get it off of my screen on there. So I want to go into new games and I want to look for open slots, and I don't see anything in here that I want to play. Let me see. We're going to be a couple of days in. Let's join this game on a 4X and let's get started so I can show you that, right? So we're going to pick a nation. Let's see what's available. We were just in the screen, so let's see. Argentina's available. I'm playing in Argentina already. Someone asked me to play Poland. Is that available in this map? Let's see. Poland. And it is not. It's already taken. Shoot. All right. So I wish you could zoom this map too, but is Chile taken? I've already played them. I got Argentina. Let's go. Ethiopia medium and their gunships. I don't want that. I don't want to be too close in there. Mongolia. Are they a medium-sized nation? They're kind. You know what? I've never played Mongolia. You know what? Let's select random. Ready? Let's just go with a random nation and see what it tells us. I don't know. I'm feeling lucky. Let's throw a YOLO on there. All right, and it puts us in Cameroon on a 4X. All right, so if we look at that and we go into our research, the first thing you want to do is see where you have some strengths, right? So on the combat side, we are looking at a map. We're around a lot of vegetation, jungle, right? So the one thing you're going to want to be careful of is what your military units do in the jungle. So if you pop on them and hit your eye, it's going to tell you. Jungle, I get a minus 25% on regular infantry when I fight in jungle maps. So I'm going to have to get out of there. Let's see. Does anything have a plus factor? That's a minus 50. I don't want to go mechanized. Airborne infantry, I don't really want to deal with airborne. Special forces I can't get into, and National Guard, right? So it looks like my National Guard would be a good chance, but they're just terrible units. So we're going to have to go with the minus 25 on the basic infantry. So let's take a look at what our surrounding countries are. If I go south, I'm going to have some hills. What is this? Forest and some open, right? So if I go back into there and I look at hills, so I get no modifier on attack, and I get a plus 25 defense, right? So if I let them attack me and some of those other squares, and it's even on open territory, so we're going to go with a regular motorized infantry to start researching. And then we're going to take a look at what we would do for tanks, right? So we can research the tank destroyer right off the bat, but if you look at it, it's going to have a minus 25% again in the jungle and 25% in mountains. That's fine, but in cities, it gets a plus 25 attack and a plus 50 in open terrain is even. It will shoot soldiers and take care of tank units, right? So an overall good unit to have, or do you wait and go tanks on here? Let's take a look at what this unit is. A 9 and an 8. So if we ran into an anti-tank, we would be at an 8 to 12 ratio. But let's go ahead and go that route. Let's wait and save up for tanks on this side, right? So it's going to tell us we completed basic infantry, which is fantastic. So now we're going to go into our city list, and you look at these bonuses up here, and you're going to see where your supplies are, right? So the first thing is in the market, you want to see if anything's super cheap, and you want to just buy some extra. I know this is crazy, but you just want to buy the cheapest stuff that's out there real quick. You don't want to pay the premium later. And then that's about all you can get on there that we can get. Anything about an 8 in the beginning is fine. And then if you notice the prices dip down, you'll grab more. You'll thank me later. You're going to need a ton of supplies and components. It's what you'll run out of in game. You'll have a ton of fuel and a ton of electronics and rare materials you'll always balance. So I noticed that we have 5 cities right away, and we're going to have to make some upgrades. So first thing you want to do is get your army going in each one, and you can really start it and hit next. and then just go through and do them all. They're really quick builds, so you can get them all going quickly. And then we'll get the last one here. This is going to give you the ability to produce units in all 5 towns right off the bat to build a strong army. You have to have defenses in there, and then you can think towards like kind of what you're going to do next. Right now, if you look on the research tree while those are all finishing up, sorry, that's diplomacy. If you look on the research tree, you're going to notice that your other units in here, right? So you can do mobile anti-air. Planes are pretty weak early on, and these things actually shoot people too. I didn't really realize that. So on top of being able to kill planes and helicopters that are coming in, and that's a lot of damage, a 4 and a 5 on starting units. You'll also do 1 against armor and 2.5 against people, right? So what I do is I put these in the cities. I don't let anybody get their jets out and do damage to me like pretty quick. It's just bad to let people in, right? So you want to start thinking about defending your first 10 days. You're not really going to jump out. Some people are going to jump out and attack and get crazy. And then you want to look at who you want to pair up with. So Congo's automatically at a disadvantage. They're a computer player. But if I go down here, this is Cabinda. It's just a solo country. So you want to come in here immediately and take Cabinda, right? And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to bring both units in just for the attack. So the only way that they can come across is through this little land piece, through this one for DR Congo, and the computer is not going to attack you super early. Libreville, you don't want someone sending a ship out, so you want to kind of keep it, good, and you want to keep your capital defended. So there's all on all sides. If I look here, that's also Nigeria's a computer player, Chad's a computer player, and then Luando, Angola, computer, like we're trying to see who we want to ally with. There's really not a lot of people playing in Africa, to be honest. So you're going to we'll end up with an easy start. Now, more people will pick up the game as it goes, so you want to be careful here. Libya, no. Morocco, no. Spain usually has somebody. Egypt usually has somebody. So Africa's pretty wide open. You'll want to jump in here and join. So I'm going to actually go to South Africa, pop them open, and say, they're in peace already. So let's see what all of our armies ready. Let's see what coalitions have already started. There's a European, there's a U.S., and an Asian, right? So this one looks like a team. There are already 5 people. They're already in the game, and they're nowhere near me, which is good, right? So I don't recognize any of those names right off the bat either. So let's go down to here. Arc Rises, NITIS, Mexico, U.S. So we don't want to join any coalitions yet. We should actually create one and invite people in, but there's only one player down here. We're at peace with them. So I'm going to actually message him and say, let's do this. South Africa. I'm going to message and say, let's join a coalition. Let's join a coalition. Let's write proper English. Boom, you're going to be active. Yep. All right, perfect. So we want to start working our alliances there. We're going to end the game, pretty much log out, and then wait about an hour, probably have lunch, come back, see what's on there. But before I do that, we're going to go in and we're going to pop in, now that we can build military, we're going to build us a bunch of extra units. If you're smart during your matches, you'll build a military hospital and some bunkers at your capital, and you'll bring troops back and heal them versus send them out to fight hurt, because building a new troop is way more expensive than going the other way. So I'll end it from here, and what we'll do is we'll continue this series on as Cameroon, and on a 4X we should get plenty of play time. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks. Bye.